vintage denim, what other vintage styles do I look for at the thrift store to sell on Poshmark? Well, today I have about 10 different styles of items that I'm going to share with you that I look for at the thrift store to resell on Poshmark. So if that sounds interesting to you, follow along. And if you're new here, I am Monica, a Million Monica, over in the Poshmark app, where I am a full-time seller. So first item that I look for at the thrift store, other than vintage denim items, are really fun printed button-down shirts. So right now I'm wearing an example of this, and as you can see, this is kind of a rainbow striped button-down shirt, and it is just a cotton shirt, and it's just super unique and fun and bright, and something that's really going to stand out to buyers when they're shopping my closet. So this is definitely something that I look for at the thrift store, and actually my friend Erin has a similar one that she was wearing the other day on her Instagram page. So when I found this at the thrift store, I knew immediately that I needed it. So the next item then, in same regard to tops, is just regular like blouses. So when I'm looking at the blouses, like vintage blouses, I'm looking for tops that have really unique details. So this one has kind of a lacy cutout top design, and this unique feature here. The shoulders have some gathers, and so do the sleeves, and the back is buttoned down. So this top overall is just super unique, and I think it would attract a buyer on Poshmark. The next type of item is also a top. So sweaters are big. I sell a lot of vintage sweaters on Poshmark. This one is more brand specific, so it's a Ralph Lauren, kind of a pretty trendy logo sweater, and if you've watched Slobby's World, you know that these are pretty popular. So I have a couple of these for sale currently in my Poshmark closet. This one is kind of a cream, and the other one is red. They get a lot of attention. So another style that I look for is, especially this time of the year, is vintage swimsuits. So this is a kind of nautical themed swimsuit, and I actually showed it in another haul video. It's got a low back, which is a pretty trendy keyword, and it's just a super fun striped swimsuit. So I definitely look for unique prints again when it comes to swimsuits, and I generally look for one-piece swimsuits. Those have, just historically speaking, done better for me over on the Poshmark app. Dresses. So if it's a dress and polka dots and vintage, I will generally always pick it up. So I'm always looking for vintage polka dot dresses. They always seem to sell pretty quickly and leave me with a good return. So this particularly is actually more of a slip dress. It's pretty light material, and it's just pretty strappy. It's midi length, and it has some little ruffle detailed hem here. And let's see, it's more of kind of that 90s, late 90s style dress. So this is super fun, and the red and the white I think will be great keywords with the patriotic holiday coming up soon. So I am looking for, in dresses, when it comes to vintage dresses, I'm looking for the print. Again, polka dot is great. And then vintage slip dresses are doing pretty well right now. So if it's more of a lighter weight material that's kind of more form-fitting, those dresses seem to do well as any type of like button-down shirt dress does really well for me too. So this is just kind of more of an accessory. So it's a scarf. It's actually a 100% silk scarf, and it is actually has its original tag on it. So that's cool. So I look for just about any unique printed, again, vintage scarf. Florals do well, and they are really great bundle items. So I don't like paying a lot for vintage scarves, but if I can get them for a good deal, I will definitely pick them up, because a lot of people like to add scarves to bundles. They're a great accessory item. Another more of an accessory would be belts. So I love selling belts. Genuine leather, it's all the better. And I really like finding belts with fun details like this, with this kind of floral detail in it, and it's just a Western style belt. And this one is even more unique because it kind of has this hanging closure feature. So this is kind of what it looks like when it's on. This would be cute with like a chambray dress. It's definitely more of a size small, but it's very unique. So here's another belt in terms of belts. This one's just more basic, but again, it's more of that vintage style. It's got a bigger buckle, and it just dresses up any outfit. And I also pick up hats. I don't really find vintage hats all that often, to be honest. I'm hoping to find a lot more vintage hats this summer at garage sales or estate sales. In the past, that's where I found most of my hats, and really I haven't sold that many because I just don't find them all that often. This is actually a kid's hat, and it's a Disney's Beauty and the Beast. It is so cute, and on the inside, it actually needs to be cleaned. But it's a youth, it says made in the USA, and then it says one size fits all if you're a youth. I have a small head, I have big hair, but I have a small head, and I tried this on, and it was a little too tight on me, so it definitely will be a child's item. I don't sell a whole lot of kids' clothes, but I could not leave this behind because it is so fun. I've found a lot of I shouldn't say a lot. I found a few like Budweiser hats or Coors hats, and those are definitely very popular types of hats to pick up. And my next item would be leather bags. So in a perfect world, I would be only finding like vintage Coach or vintage Dooney and Burke, which I do find occasionally, but I find more often just regular leather bags, and they do well too. So I don't like to leave them behind. This is actually a vintage, it's the brand called Hunt Club, and I've actually sold, I'm not gonna be able to show you this at all because it's the tag is deep in there. Okay, so it's just pretty basic. There's no outside labeling sticker. There's no outside label, but sometimes I have found Hunt Club bags that do have like a logo here, and I have sold some Hunt Club bags before. Just the fact that it's genuine leather and seems to be a great keyword. This one has lots of different pockets, so I'm sure this will do very well over on the Poshmark app. But like I said, in a perfect world, we'd just be finding Dooney and Burke and vintage Coach, which those do great too, but if it's leather and it's vintage, I will definitely pick it up. And the last item I'm going to show you is, of course, shoes. So I'm pretty picky with vintage shoes that I pick up because, of course, there are a lot of things can go wrong with vintage shoes, right? And so I am pretty picky, but my favorite vintage style shoe to pick up is wooden clogs. So I love picking up wooden clogs. I actually have found several different pairs since I've been reselling, and there are some modern wooden clogs like Swedish Has-Beens, Lotus from Stockholm. Those are more modern ones, and they do very well on Poshmark. But I love picking up these vintage ones as well. So this is definitely an older style, probably from the 70s. They are super fun, they're gorgeous. What I found though with these wooden clogs is they do best in the spring and summer, which makes sense. So I've had a few pairs listed this winter and they've gotten a lot of attention, however they haven't moved. So my plan for them is to actually just relist them and hope that they move, because last spring I sold several pairs and now the ones I found this winter are kind of gone stale. So I don't think it's because they're not a sought after item. They've definitely gotten a lot of attention. I think it's just the timing and the time of the year. So, you know, if you're finding them and you can find them for a great deal, pick them up. But if you're worried that they're going to sit, you know, maybe think about your listing price or when you're listing them, the time of the year, etc. And that can go with a lot of these items, to be honest. So anywho, I hope that this video was helpful for you to see what types of vintage items and vintage styles that I pick up when I'm out sourcing at the thrift store. I love selling vintage on Poshmark. I just love selling vintage in general. So if you have any questions for me about selling vintage, anything that I didn't cover in this video as far as styles, or even brands. I know there can be so much when talking about vintage. Please leave any of those questions or comments down below. If there's any of these items that you love selling as well, I would love to hear about it. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe because I will be making more videos in the future. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.